150 bodies, mutilated beyond recognition, women, children, elderly, all dead, not killed in battle, murdered while they slept, under an American flag they'd raised to show they were peaceful. November 29, 1864, Sand Creek, Colorado Territory. Colonel John Chivington leads 700 volunteer soldiers toward a Cheyenne and Arapaho camp. His orders to his men: kill and scalp all, big and little, nits make lice. The sun hasn't risen yet. The camp is silent. Most warriors are away hunting. Only women, children, and old men remain. Chief Black Kettle hears horses approaching. He steps out of his lodge, sees soldiers, but he's not worried. He has a peace agreement. The army told him to camp here, said they'd be protected. He raises the American flag higher, then a white flag of truce beside it. That's when the first cannon fires. What happens next will be called many things: a battle, an engagement, a victory. It was none of those things. It was a massacre, premeditated, celebrated, and covered up for decades. The true story is worse than you've been told. To understand Sand Creek, you need to understand gold, always gold. 1858, gold discovered at Pikes Peak, Colorado. Within 2 years, 100,000 prospectors flood into Colorado Territory. Denver becomes a city overnight. One problem: this is Cheyenne and Arapaho land, guaranteed by the Fort Laramie Treaty of 1851. The miners don't care. They want the gold. The government wants the tax revenue. The Indians are in the way. By 1864, Colorado Territory is in crisis. Small bands of warriors, frustrated by broken treaties and starving from loss of buffalo, raid isolated ranches and wagon trains. Settlers demand protection. Politicians demand action. Enter John Chivington, Methodist minister turned Indian fighter, hero of Glorieta Pass, where he helped defeat Confederate forces in New Mexico, now military commander of Colorado Territory. Chivington has political ambitions. He wants to be Colorado's first congressman when it becomes a state. He needs a military victory to secure votes. But there's a problem. Most Cheyenne and Arapaho want peace. September 1864. Chief Black Kettle and other chiefs meet with Governor John Evans at Camp Weld near Denver. Black Kettle speaks: "We want peace. We have not been the ones to break treaties. We will do whatever the white authorities tell us. Just let us live in peace." Major Edward Wynkoop, commander at Fort Lyon, supports the peace faction. He tells Black Kettle to camp at Sand Creek, 40 miles from the fort. Says the army will protect them. Black Kettle moves his band there. About 600 Cheyenne under his leadership. Another 50 Arapaho under Chief Left Hand. They turn in most of their weapons at Fort Lyon as requested. Keep only enough for hunting. They think they're safe. November 28, 1864. Night. Colonel Chivington arrives at Fort Lyon with the 3rd Colorado Cavalry. 700 men, not regular army, volunteers. Their enlistment is about to expire. They've been mocked in Denver newspapers as the bloodless Third because they haven't fought Indians yet. They want Indian blood, and Chivington will give it to them. Major Anthony, who recently replaced Wynkoop at Fort Lyon, objects weakly. "These Indians are peaceful," he says. "They're under army protection." Chivington's response: "Damn any man who sympathizes with Indians. I have come to kill Indians and believe it is right and honorable to use any means under God's heaven to kill Indians." He places guards around Fort Lyon. No one can leave to warn the camps. Then he marches through the night. 700 men, 4 howitzers, moving through freezing darkness toward Sand Creek. November 29, 1864. 6:30 a.m. Dawn. The camp is waking. Women start cook fires, children play. Most men are absent, away hunting buffalo with permission from Major Wynkoop. Private John Morse, riding with Chivington, later testified, "I saw the American flag flying and heard Black Kettle tell the Indians to stand around the flag, and there they would be safe. George Bent, son of a white trader and Cheyenne mother, is in the camp. He sees soldiers on the ridge. He's not worried. These are peaceful camps. The army knows they're here. Then the howitzers fire. Grape shot tears through lodges. Women scream. Children run. Black Kettle stands by his flag, shouting to his people not to fight, telling them it's a mistake. The soldiers will stop when they see the flags. The soldiers charge. What happens next is documented in congressional testimony, not from Indians, from white soldiers who were there. Lieutenant James Connor testified, "I did not see a body of man, woman, or child, but was scalped, and in many instances their bodies were mutilated in the most horrible manner. Men, women, and children's privates cut out. I heard one soldier say he had cut out a woman's private parts and had them for exhibition on a stick." Major Scott Anthony later testified seeing a pregnant woman shot, her unborn child cut out and left beside her. Captain Silas Soule refuses to let his men fire. He's court-martialed for cowardice, later murdered before he can testify at the investigation. His killer is never prosecuted. Black Kettle's wife, medicine woman, later is shot 9 times. Black Kettle drags her to safety. Miraculously, both survive. They escape down Sand Creek, hiding in the banks. White Antelope, 75 years old, stands in front of his lodge. He refuses to run. He sings his death song, "Nothing lives long except the earth and mountains." Soldiers shoot him, cut off his nose, ears, and testicles. One soldier later displays White Antelope's scrotum as a tobacco pouch. The killing continues for 8 hours. Women holding babies are shot together, the bullet passing through both. Children hiding in sandpits are found and killed. Wounded trying to crawl away are tracked down. Robert Bent, forced to guide Chivington, testified, "I saw one little child, probably 3 years old, just big enough to walk through the sand. The Indians had gone ahead, and this little child was behind, following after them. The little fellow was perfectly naked, traveling on the sand. I saw one man get off his horse at a distance of about 75 yards and draw up his rifle and fire. He missed the child. Another man came up and said, 'Let me try the son of a bitch, I can hit him.' He got down off his horse, kneeled down, and fired at the little child, but he missed him. A third man came up and made a similar remark and fired, and the little fellow dropped. By afternoon, it's over. Chivington reports 500 to 600 Indian warriors killed, a great victory. The truth, congressional investigation confirms between 150 and 200 dead. 2/3 were women and children. Army losses, 24 killed, 52 wounded. Most casualties from friendly fire in the chaos. The battle trophies are displayed in Denver. Scalps, body parts. The 3rd Colorado Cavalry parades through town as heroes. Theater intermissions feature soldiers showing their trophies. Audiences applaud. But some soldiers talk. Captain Silas Soule writes to his former commander, Wincoop, "It was hard to see little children on their knees have their brains beat out by men professing to be civilized." Congress investigates. The Joint Committee on the Conduct of the War calls it a foul and dastardly massacre which would have disgraced the veriest savage among those who were the victims of the horrible crime. But no one is punished. Chivington has already resigned from the army. He's beyond military justice. The massacre has consequences. The Cheyenne and Arapaho who wanted peace now want war. Black Kettle still counsels peace, but younger warriors don't listen. Why should they? Peace got their families massacred. The Plains Wars explode. Thousands die over the next decade. Soldiers, settlers, Indians, all because of Sand Creek. Black Kettle keeps trying for peace. He leads his band to what he hopes is safety on the Washita River in Indian Territory. November 27, 1868, almost exactly 4 years after Sand Creek. Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer attacks Black Kettle's camp at dawn. Same tactics as Sand Creek. Attack at first light. Target a peaceful camp. Black Kettle, the peace chief who survived Sand Creek, is shot in the back fleeing with his wife. Both die in the Washita River. The man who raised American flags and white flags, who believed in peace until the end, dies the same way his people died at Sand Creek. Betrayed by those who promised protection, Chivington lives until 1894. He never apologizes, never shows remorse. In his memoirs, he still calls Sand Creek a battle against hostile Indians. He dies believing he's a hero. History knows better. In 1996, the American Battlefield Protection Program refuses to classify Sand Creek as a battle. It's officially designated a massacre site. In 2014, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper formally apologizes for Sand Creek 150 years too late. The Sand Creek Massacre isn't ancient history. There are people alive whose grandparents survived it. The trauma passes through generations. It's a reminder that atrocities aren't always committed by enemies. Sometimes they're committed by those wearing your own uniform, flying your own flag, speaking your own language. The lesson of Sand Creek is simple. When hatred is sanctioned by authority, when dehumanization becomes policy, when political ambition matters more than innocent lives, massacres happen. They called Indians savages. But who mutilated children? Who displayed body parts as trophies? Who broke sacred truces? Sand Creek answers those questions, if you have the courage to listen. So here's my question. Why do we call it the Indian Wars when atrocities like Sand Creek show who the real aggressors were? Comment below. If you want more untold truths about American history, stories that challenge everything you learned in school, hit subscribe. Next video, the Bear River Massacre. 450 Shoshone killed in 4 hours. The largest massacre of Native Americans in U.S. history, and most Americans have never heard of it.